All right, let's see what's going on here. Transition this over here. All right, you guys should be able to hear me okay. You guys should be able to see my screen okay. We are just doing a little bit of co-working here and cleaning up some stuff around the different lab environments for this weekend. So let me get some music going so we can hang out. It's taking Pretzel Rocks way longer to load than I think it should. All right, we're almost there. If it doesn't come up, we're gonna skip it. Go do something else. All right, well, here we go. Let's give it the old, we'll give Spooky a shot again. See how they do. Give them like a 10. All right. So, what are we doing right now? We are hanging out and getting the labs kind of set up. While we're waiting for that to get ready, we were messing around over here. I'm pretty sure right up here we've got 1300 something. Yeah, 1311. There we go. We'll let that run a little bit. And if you guys got questions about what's going on, let me know. But for the most part, I am going to be just kind of hanging out and working on some stuff. I should be able to see your chats. Yep. And just let me know if you guys need anything. I am going to be grading some papers while we hang out here for a little bit. Obviously, I can't show you guys that. I'm going to be grading and hanging out. So you guys let me know if you got questions about our course, questions about our group, questions about why people hang out in here sometimes. Let me know. And again, I think I've told you guys this. I don't normally listen to music when I work, but I do just when I'm streaming because, I don't know, it keeps people entertained or something like that. All right. So yeah, let me know if you guys have questions. I am hanging out. We're getting ready to run the Linux Systems Administrator course again. This is going to start tomorrow. And then we're starting the security course too. So I'm going to be working on that. Morrison, you got all caught up with school? How's school going? Are you doing Western Governors, or are you doing somewhere else? I do forget where everybody's going to school for the people that are going to school. Oh, one other fun thing. Okay. TAM, UCT, okay. Interesting thing, and I didn't even think about this until you mentioned college. I have an opportunity to speak at a symposium for my college, and I'll bring up the requirements here in a little bit when I get done grading stuff. But one of the things I've been presented with this opportunity to go, and one of the things I really like to show my college students is this, because we deal with a lot of engineering students, right? Like a lot of computer, a lot of electrical, a lot of security engineering, network engineering students. So I run this thing, and I've shown it to you guys before on stream here. It's called my Excelling in the Engineering Field After College. And I really think that would be a nice one about, like, I think it would be a good talk to give about maybe putting together, like, for college student or for college professors to put together their little 30-minute, things that people need after college. Because, like, yeah, we all go to college, and then you get out of college, and you're like, well, how do I keep my stuff updated? And if you didn't get heavily involved in, like, user groups and stuff like that, you might not really have anywhere to turn, So I'm a big fan of that, and I've shown you guys that presentation. We'll probably pop it up here too. But for now, I'm hanging out, Working on some college grading on a different screen. And you guys will just let me know if you have questions. YouTube. Sorry, guys, I'm eating too. I'm eating like these peanut butter M&Ms my wife has. Adaverk said, hey, yep, how's it going? You mentioned the verses for the last sysadmin course, but been on since yesterday. How can I get mine? I had participated and submitted my final project. Lord Processor, did you send me? You had to have sent it to me. The certificates were done at the end of January, and they were sent out to all the people who we had. Did you send me the list, Lord Processor, or did you send me all the info? I'll have to look. Maybe just ping me offline, and we'll get it sorted out. Because the way we were doing it was Treasure was kind of running everything, and I kept track of the names and gave him the names that I had. There we go. Floyd, how's it going? Yeah, thank God it's Friday. Sure, I agree with that. Morrison, you've been trying to learn Golang? Yeah, Treasure wrote, our whole page is done in Golang, so this is all assuming it comes up and doesn't break. Yeah, so CloudFront does have a problem with caching, and then after a couple minutes it comes up. So we'll give it a minute to remember that it can connect to our system. That's always fun. And then we'll go get that working again, but that's always fun that thing takes a while. It's like it takes a while to remember that it's caching a backend. Kind of an annoyance. I can set that cache for a year, so I really need to do that. Because yeah, then there it goes there, it's fine. So, all right. That's just a cloud proclivity that I kind of dislike and I need to work out, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Yeah, that's right. That should be right there. Yeah. All right. So let's and then here's the courses coming up. They both start tomorrow, and we're gonna kind of go through there. All right, good. We're gonna leave that going. All right, I don't necessarily like this song. I'm gonna dislike the track, and we're gonna move on. So we're listening to Pretzel Rocks, and we're doing spooky music, but that was a little too Halloweeny for me. I like that it said Halloweeny like that. Moop Moop, you found out what LSOF is? Nice. LSOF is good for that. DU is good for that if you're finding a filled up file system. That's good. Also, yeah, the LSOF, that's interesting because sometimes you'll delete things, and even after you delete them, they're still held open, and they will not actually be reclaimed space until you kill certain processes off, and that can be kind of annoying, especially with NFS type stuff. So, and then Morrison, I don't know if you saw that chat from Spiritual Avocado, but yeah, Golang. I like Golang. I don't use it much. I mean, I've built it into some containers and done I've done little I've done like nothing with it, but it's I think my stuff is like. Do I have something in here? Yeah. Yeah, I have like I've done like nothing with it, but where's the hold on, sorry. Yeah, I've done like nothing. Like I've done like basic little setup and like made sure that I could connect to something, and then scan me and map.org is an always open port 80 that you can use, and then you can see if you connected or not. It's like I've done like nothing, and then but I've built stuff up into containers with it, which is fine, but I haven't done anything like outside of like a lab thing with it, like nothing serious in any kind of real sense at all. So yeah, but you guys know I'm not a programmer. I'm just a guy that keeps systems working for the most part. Oh, Moop, you had an Oracle listener holding stuff. Yeah. That'll do it. That'll 100% do it. All right, let me do some grading. I'm going to just sit here and talk with you guys while I grade. I'm going to grade discussions first. So let's look at our discussions. And mainly when I look at discussions, I just look for students doing the requirements, which are sometimes they don't do everything they need. Nuclear guy, how's it going? Hopefully this stuff's useful to you. We are not working too hard today. Fridays are never hard works for us. We just kind of hang out and talk shop, talk about Linux, talk about the labs and the courses that are coming up. So let me know if you need anything. Adaverk, you said you had a Prolog site problem yesterday. Yeah, I got to tune the caching on the CloudFront so that it just keeps the cache. That shouldn't happen very often, but it should also come back. Morrison, you said, the proverbial discussion. Yeah, I have to do that with my college students for sure. Some of these guys need more comments so they don't get full points. That's unfortunate. Whoops, cancel. I do look like I'm having like a major network slowdown right now. Hey, Kolkus, how's it going? It's funny. We should keep track of all the ways that this thing tries to say that I said the name Kolkus. Well, there we go. There's that one. I don't think it's not terrible. It's not like when I was trying to say a nectarine. I don't know if Hayes Anderson's around, but he's the one that remembered that for me. Because I remember that we had an AI make them, but I didn't remember what had actually caused it. But it was because we were talking about having a place to like basically have somebody to complain about if something won't work right. Have a set of engineers to go to work on a problem for us. And that's a government requirement on pretty much everything. You can't, unless you support something natively, you must have support for things, or you're gonna have problems. Real problems, guys. Nectarine equals code for murder. Yeah. Actually, kind of in that sense it does, yes. So this class has 53 students in it. And you might say, how do you have 53 students in a class? Well, all the professors have between typically like 50 and 60 students in these classes. And we do this thing called an on-live modality, which is, it's actually, I really actually like the way we do it, because some colleges you just go in and it's, it's just online and you never meet anybody or you never do whatever. But what our college does is we meet with the students once a week, and different professors will sit there and talk about, for between 20 and 40 minutes typically, about different topics for that week. We'll go over the projects, we'll let the students ask questions, and they basically get like a 2-hour, hour and a half, 2-hour class to hang out and talk with the professors that are there. But then it's a normal online course like you would do any other class, but this is where I really like it. Each of us takes an hour or two for office hours. I always do mine on Saturdays. And any student can come and just hang out with me and work through their projects or, do whatever. So I really like that, where, you've got like 600 students in a class and you'll have 200 or 300 on the online session, but they're actually live and they can talk. And then they can go to any of the teachers' office hours. There's like 7 or 8 of us teachers in this class, right? And we will all be running a different section with our own students. We could also have our own live sessions if we want with our students. I don't necessarily do that. I just let the normal session ride. But any student can come and hang out with me on Saturday. So a lot of times, like, I'm the one that the professors will tell them, hey, go hang out with Scott if you need more time on your, especially for students that need more time with networking. Because I've been doing networking so long, I tend to get Linux as well. Linux is my baby. Linux is my bread and butter, as it were. All right, and then students still don't do them, even though it's pretty straightforward. Go in there 3 different days and do your text, do your messages. Orson, is the Linux course set up in a way that can push GitHub for resume purposes? Yeah, let me actually show you guys something about that real quick. Let me turn this off. The way the Linux course is run right now, for this next group, is going to be through this book right here. This will be the Linux admin course. So I'll link it to you guys on YouTube and on Twitch. And everything's going to be up here. People that want to contribute to the course as they go through it as well can do so. there's actually a contributions page that you guys can go through and get involved with. Actually, it's interesting. I don't even see the contributions page up here anymore. Maybe they removed it. Maybe I was showing it too much and they decided to remove it. But there is a contributions page which will be there. So for people that want to work on stuff and have, yeah, I don't know. Apparently, maybe they put contributors at the bottom. Okay, and then resources and outro. So here's all these different resources that kind of show up through the course, and they've just been adding or removing things as they go. And this course is actually getting pretty close to done. We've run through the course before, but all 16 weeks are going to be up here in that book already. So you guys can go and you can start reviewing. Like, in fact, I was going to highly recommend people that aren't going to be able to make it or people that want to be ready for tomorrow can go in and start reviewing Unit 1. Start to learn some of these terms if you've never been in here or done this stuff, right? And then here's the first worksheet. And if you do miss, here's the recording that I did last time. So we walked through, like, what is absolute pathing and what does it mean to be a process and all these kind of things, right? No, Morrison, all you got to do to sign up is go in the Discord and say you want to be there. I'm not going to, like, take attendance or anything. You guys just got to be there. It's free, right? It's free. You can just, basically, it's just come hang out with us. That's the thing. Come hang out. You're going to have to do some work if you want to get the little cert for people that want the little certificate. And then for people that don't know, if you do the cert, you get on the certification, there's actually a little QR code. And the QR code you can put on your resume, or you can do that little string if you want. And people can link over and it'll say that you've done, certificate holder. It'll prove that the person is who they say they are, right? Then I got another one here to verify with, which is Trevor, right? And then you could go see that he went through, and he's one of the guys who's actually running a lot of this as well, right? Helping me out on the back end with a lot of this stuff. So anyways, yeah, this is almost all of this is his work. So if you guys are like, oh, hey, how did he put that together? This is a Golang container in our home lab environment that's just shared out and then CloudFront to the world through AWS, right? If you guys need to see that architecture, we could draw it up sometime. But yeah, no, the courses start tomorrow for people that want to come do them. It's not too late to sign up, and they are free. All right, more grades, more grading. 15 out of 15, very nice. Another one. Oh, 3 in a row. Oops. Need more comments. All right. Almost done with that. Oh, did I take away Ranger Camp? No, Ranger Camp's there. I just don't know where Ranger is right now. And if you guys want to know what the little certificates look like, they kind of look like this. I think I have them under streaming images. This one, they're blue, but I'm going to pull it up in orange like this. This is what it would look like. Oh, shoot, actually, you guys can't see that. I don't have it set for you guys to see that other screen. Oh, shit. Well, just suffice it to say it's very nice. Hold on. I'll pull it up real quick. Hold on. Let me go to my streaming. Turn off my camera. It looks kind of like that one right there. That's what it'll look like for people, but it'll be blue. We're releasing the blue ones. This other one is just kind of to look at to see an example of, but the one that we'll actually release will be all blue. So, okay, let me get that out of the way. Talk about that stuff here in a little bit when I finish grading, but we should be able to keep working on what we're doing. Morrison, thanks for the Prime. You can use those anywhere, but you choose to use them here. That's nice. Also, you don't have to watch any ads, which is, I'm sure, very convenient for some people. People tend to dislike watching ads. So that lets you get around them. So that's always nice. Let's keep going. 15 out of 15. Nice. I'm almost done with this first class, and I just got to go to the other one real quick. Getting calls from telemarketers. Don't want that. Okay. Song is also very Halloweeny. This one, but we'll let it ride. We'll just let it go because we're grading papers and that's a spooky mood. Well, in this case, discussion questions, but it's all the same. Okay, almost done with this one. Then I got actual papers to grade on a different page. I'll be looking at those, and then we'll go. That's a good question. So there's a question about, do people need to sign up for the events, or are the courses available at self-paced? So to answer that, you can always go here, and you can always just go through the course, right? Like all the materials here. Well, it's still getting built, but for the most part, all the material will be here in the next couple of days, probably, and weeks. This will be called a completed book. You could at any time go through all the material, work through the labs, do all that stuff. If you want to do the course with us, it's going to be, we run it week by week, starting this weekend. And the reason we do it together, and the reason we work through, I'm a big fan of people working on stuff on their own, and like if people want to run off. But the reason I have the course structured and where we're going to have the discussion questions and you can actually sit there and get in and do discussion questions is because of this. You will find that people look at things differently than you do. And then you'll respond to them, and you'll hear feedback, and you'll look at things in different ways. It's actually one of the nice things about being a college professor too, is that I look at things because students will ask me stuff and I'll be like, I literally never thought of that. It's not that somebody's dumb. It's not that they're smart either in most cases. It's just they're looking at something different than you originally saw it, or the problem that you had when you learned it. So there's like a lot of value in watching other people learn stuff, and that's why we do the discussion questions. By the way, that's why colleges do it too, if you're wondering. So to answer that question, you could always do it on your own. That's all the material is going to be here for you. But we will also be doing it kind of as like a cohort all together. And if you do that, you're going to find, I don't want to say synergies, you're just going to like find people to study with and people that are interested in the same thing as you. And you're going to sit and guys, what happened last time is kind of organically these study groups started showing up and people started working through. I didn't mandate study groups. I didn't say you had to go study anything, right? There was no mandate for me on anything. Yeah, and different people were saying different things, and then and by the way, at the heart of academia, and you'll learn this as you continue on, and if you do decide to go to college and stuff, the heart of academia is disagreement and argument. But it's constructive argument, and it is argument in a way that betters the profession or the career or the whatever. But you'll find, like, you might think, here's a good example. You might think economics are a known set. They are a solid, like they're a finite. If you were to go talk to 100 economists, they would tell you 100 times the exact same answer about what is more important, the marginal propensity to consume or the marginal propensity to save money along like a certain time of recession, or and you'll get 100 different effing answers. Yeah, so like and I think Tigrel said it best. Like my job isn't to like teach you a thing like a known set. I'm gonna try to help you learn like critical thinking and how to go figure stuff out, because and not just that, not like some cop out like, oh, I'm not gonna give you the right answer because I don't know it. It's more of like I can't give you only one answer because that would be a disservice to you, because when you're on Saturday night and you get called out in the middle of the night, you don't have me to call. You don't have some other engineer to call. You need to work through this stuff yourself, right? You need to, we joke around and call it putting on the big boy pants, but you've got to put this stuff together yourself, right? Like you've got to, So I tell you guys all the time, I do a disservice to you if I just give you a right answer, which is why one of the reasons I think I've told you guys there's two things that are true about me in 16 years of college professoring. I have never given extra credits ever. Never once. Not once. If I have a 1,000-point class, it's worth 1,000 points. I don't give extra credit. I don't believe in it. That sounds like a real hard-ass thing to say, but I have never had a student get anything other than 100% on a quiz if they wanted to get 100% on a quiz. And what I mean by that is my quizzes are used as checkpoints. If you get a 40 out of 100, so you get like 4 right out of... There's 6 other questions that you can do a write-up. You could do a two-paragraph write-up about why the right answer is right. Why the wrong answer is wrong is irrelevant. I never want to hear about the wrong answer. That's terrible. But it's a 2 paragraph per question write-up, and I will give you 100% on any quiz. That's always been the truth for me. And then students go, oh, thank you so much for this. And I'm like, oh no, I tricked you into learning something. Yeah. Yeah, the left and right limits for sure. Okay, so we were actually talking about that this morning, Morrison, me and so for you guys that don't know, I was an Army infantryman, and I have both an expert and a combat infantry badge. The combat infantry badge was super easy to get. The expert infantry badge was significantly more difficult. Yeah, spiritual avocado. I've found a lot of students really like that. They're like, oh man, Scott, you had a really hard class, but I learned a lot. And I'm like, oh no, I tricked you into learning. Because people are super happy when they find out that for 30% of the class, they should get 100%. That allays a lot of fear for people. They're like, oh, I don't, for 30% of this class, I will get all the right answers, even if I don't know this stuff. But here's what that should help most of you with. If you ever do a college class, right? And this Linux course is very much like a college class light. Yeah, that's fine. What I would say is this: it's if you're finding yourself getting 40% on all the quizzes, what you should be doing is saying, okay, instead of spending all this time writing the stuff up after, maybe I spend like half the time before studying it and starting to get my quiz. Basically, you shoot the azimuth early and then you don't miss. And I think a lot of people from that methodology start to go, oh yeah, I should understand a thing. Before I take a quiz, this is the same thing I am with all of my certification tests that I pass. I feel like I should be able to talk to each and every bullet point on the outline for about a paragraph or two, like a minute. So, yeah, Tigreal, yeah, you definitely didn't miss the start. We're starting tomorrow. We're doing Linux Systems Administration. I don't know why that said Tigreal. I thought I said Tigreal, but apparently this thing doesn't know. All right, whatever. You're going to be Thigrill or Tigrill. I don't know. This closed captioning is making me look terrible. All right, but anyways, yeah, you didn't miss anything. We're going to start tomorrow. Give people access. Yeah, tiles show up there better. Tiles show. All right, whatever. This closed captioning is constantly making me look like an idiot. But yeah, so there's all this stuff going on. Let me switch over to my other grade book real quick. I got more grades to do and more discussions to do. All right. Start getting my class all organized. I always go through and give all the zeros first because zeros just show up as dashes in my grade book. So I feel like that motivates people when they start to see zeros. And I don't like to wait until the end because then people are like, well, I was holding like a 100 in your class. And all of a sudden I was at like 60%. And I'm like, well, did you do all the work? And they're like, yeah, but because when it's a dash, it doesn't count for against the grade, right? So it's just kind of like a push, and that's not great. Saz over on YouTube said, will this be the first course on system admin? No, this is our second time running through it. We put it all together, and basically I just ran it out of the Discord, but then the guys made this really awesome little book on it, and there's just like a book that will walk you through So this one was baselining and benchmarking system, and there was about Kaggle and data science stuff. And then when you come down here, we talked about some of the stuff that you are being asked about, and there was a little question here about you're in a capacity planning meeting and they want to add this extra agent, and they expect it to run at 4 a.m. every morning, which is at this time every day. And you might have to say, here's actually the 4 a.m. right here, and you might have to speak up in this meeting, and then do all that. Yeah, and Ty, the Big Book of Labs is much more technical, in that it's discrete tasks, right? All it does is it ties you over to your Killer Coda Labs, which the Killer Coda Labs are free, and then it just digs in a little deeper. So you can do them independent of each other. I think that there's two parts to being a good Linux systems administrator, right? There's two parts to it. Obviously, you have to be able to do the work, guys. You have to be able to do the command line. And that's what the Big Book of Labs and I keep saying Kaggle, Killer Coda is all about. Having that stuff good is having that stuff down solid. There's a lot of value to it. The Linux sysadmin course, this one that we have here, this is going to be big for people that want to get involved, for you guys that want to get involved with doing this professionally, right? Going out and getting a job. These are the types of things that are asked of a Linux administrator in the wild. These are the things that you're going to run into. So, did it say Kaggle's up there? Oh gosh, Kaggle. I was saying Kaggle, like the website. Yeah, Kaggle is a data science website, not Kegel or Kegels, which are not not to be talked about. Oh, I'm choking. I had a peanut butter M&M try to kill me. All right. Oh man, almost just got done in by a peanut butter M&M. My wife would have come back. It is our anniversary today, so she would have come back, and I would have been just laid back in my chair with a little I got a little bowl here, not full of them, but there's about 6 left, and that one would have almost done me in. Yeah, Ty, you're getting up. Yeah, just getting your hands on this stuff is valuable, if you even know how to just jump around your different systems, do different admin things. All right, it's our host box. We don't need to go in there right now. Okay, so let's keep going. Yeah, thank you. Me and the wife, actually, we spent most of the morning together, and then she went with one of her girlfriends for lunch. And I was like, well, I'm going to call one of my guy friends for lunch then. So me and my buddy Jesse, we hung out. We went to Fazoli's for lunch, which only recently came back to Phoenix. There wasn't a Fazoli's in Phoenix for the last 12 years or so, and then they came back. Oh, hey, did you get paid today? Nice. I think, what's today, the 21st? Yep. It's a Friday. All right, so I'm still grading stuff. Let me grade these other papers real quick. Grading discussion posts, rather. And we'll just keep going. Yeah, Ty, one of the reasons I do a lot of stuff live like this, too, is I found out, just from working over the years, I found out that, when I worked and me or other engineers would look over each other's shoulders, I picked up so much from, what other guys were doing. Even though I feel like I know the systems pretty well, and I feel like I know what I'm doing pretty well, I would just, watch somebody do something and be like, oh, what was that? And they'll be like, oh, yeah, this is just the way that I do this. And I'm like, oh, that's a really good way to do it. And then all of a sudden, next thing I know, I start doing it their way, and then all my, I show it to other people or whatever. And that's, I like learning stuff like that as we're just working on something maybe even unrelated. And, just using the system in a way that I hadn't thought to use it or something. So, all right. I'm gonna just keep grading these. Most of this is like either it's good or it needs more comments. That's kind of thing. You guys want to know what I did yesterday that I had never done before? But you're gonna. Some of you, if I have any anime fans around here, you're gonna be like, "You did what for the first time?" All right. So I kind of when I was a kid, I watched Dragon Ball Z. Right, like I grew up with Dragon Ball Z on Saturdays, and I swear it was even on maybe on Sunday afternoons too. But I grew up with Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. Right, like back in the day. But what I did yesterday for the first time that I've never done before is I watched Akira. I have never seen Akira before. I had tried to watch it years ago, and I think I made it about 10 minutes in, and I was like, this is, and I just turned it off. But I watched Akira for the first time. So I wonder if I have any Akira fans in here. They're going to be like, what? That thing, because it came out in like 89 in America, so it's like you would think I'd have seen it already. No, Electric Machine. We don't do the live sessions. We don't record. So let me show you guys how we do this. Hold on. Let me finish my grading real quick, and then I'll answer that question. We've got a few more things to grade here, or I'll get to a good stopping point, and then I'll go. Let me give some grades here. Trying to stay focused on good grading. Make sure I'm fair across all my grading. Oh, that's like a chase scene right here. Oh, no, Hayes, I have finished it. No, I finished it yesterday for the first time. I finished it. I thought it was interesting. I think Akira, I get why it's a classic. I think it's an interesting concept. I see so many things from Akira that were put into other stuff. Even like early South Park. That early South Park where Cartman was the trapper keeper and it just like absorbed everything and took everything over. I'm like, that's still technically Akira. Yeah. No, I had never finished Akira before yesterday. I had only ever seen like the first 10 minutes of it. But no, I definitely see how I could watch it again to pick up way more stuff. Yeah. Because even early on, I wasn't sure, like, the animation, the boy and the girl, I'm like, they don't look that much different. But then when she would talk, I'd be like, oh, that's the girl, okay. But no, they did a pretty good job. I thought it was fun. I thought there were a lot of things that kind of talked into different, like I've seen go forward from there into other animes. So that was an interesting thing to kind of watch. And I read a thing, by the way, one of the reasons I went to watch it was a meme popped across my screen that said when they were making the movie Akira, they ended up inventing like 50 new colors or something. And I was like, that's kind of cool. Like colors that hadn't been named before but had been generated by a computer. And the studio actually generated a bunch of them. So I thought that was kind of cool. UG said, hi, how are you doing? I'm doing good. I'm just kind of hanging out, and I'm working on some stuff, so we're kind of doing like a co-working, but I'm trying to answer you guys as I kind of go back and forth. UG, the course is for people who want to. So let me say this. This Linux admin course is designed for people who want to start to be a professional. That were maybe being like maybe you're an amateur. Maybe you like playing around at the command line. Maybe this right here is like the life for you, and you're like, this is my, this is what I love doing, and this is my favorite thing is getting in the command line, looking at stuff. But you're not doing it professionally yet, right? And our goal is, to get you guys the foundational skills needed for effective Linux systems and administration in a company. Now, the focus is on RHEL. We use Rocky Linux, which is very close to RHEL. While you guys are doing the course, you have full access to my home lab environment, which is I'm not really set this up to show you guys right now, but it's the Rocky 1 through 19 servers, and you guys can log into them from the internet, right? I give you guys access to them and how to connect to them and all that kind of good stuff, right? And then when you're in there, you can do whatever labs you want, and then you can reboot a system. And it starts with simple Linux stuff like understanding the file system, command line, editing files, practical sysadmin tasks, and then we just keep going, and we get into all kinds of things. I wonder if we have. I don't think they put the syllabus anywhere. I don't think they ever put the syllabus in this one, did they? No. I can pull the syllabus up for you, but the syllabus is basically the what the 16 weeks look like, right? Did they do it down here? No, they didn't do it. They pulled it out of here. But these are the things that we're kind of going over, the major instructional areas, and these are the course objectives. Course objectives are things that you should be able to take and put on a resume when we're done. So, yeah, UG, when I first did it, I wrote it up as like it was a college class. I wrote it up very similar to that. No, it's fine. When you guys derail me, that's fine. I'm still over here grading. I'm fine with getting derailed. I get derailed all the time. All right. 15 out of 15. Not 15 out of 15. Nope. That's also not the standard. That's also not the standard. Find your channel, watch your videos. I feel like I've known you for a while. Yeah. Well, Ty, you're welcome to hang out. I mean, we have a Discord. People hang out down there a lot, too. I try to tell you guys, like, this isn't the Scott show. This is the professional Linux users group, right? I just happen to be the guy that has to get on the internet and tell people about it. We've grown from, we used to just run out of my home, and then now that was back before COVID and stuff. And ever since COVID, we mostly went online. And, we're up to about 3,700 people in our Discord. So the Discord's been growing. The number of people that have gotten jobs and gotten into the field is, probably up. It was probably already in the high number of tens, but now if I had to venture a guess, it's over 100 that have gotten into the field and gotten kind of better at this stuff as we kind of go, getting more knowledge of what's going on and figuring out stuff that's interesting to them, that kind of stuff. All right, hold on. Let me down to my last 10 for this thing that I'm grading. Then I've got to grade some actual papers. Papers take a little more focus. Discussion posts are really just, are you doing the discussions and are you using proper language, I don't want people, using shorthand in a college post. They're not allowed to do that. They have to at least post like a professional. What is this thing? All right. Guess the student was there. Sometimes students just post pictures of them in the class, and it's like, that's cool. I'm glad you showed up to the class that you were paying for. What I prefer is if you tell me what you also learned in the class, too. UG, we do not need to program on the Linux administrator side of things. I mean, we need to understand the constructs, but going deep into algorithms and deployments and application type stuff, you don't have to go that far in that unless that's what you want to do. No, but Linux systems engineering, Linux systems administration is much more about building stable systems that are secure and keep running. Yeah. You don't have to do any of that deep stuff if you don't want to. You can. No, you 100% can. But you don't have to do that. You don't have to go deep into that stuff. Like over here, I'm just kind of monitoring systems and just keeping an eye on my environment, making sure that my environment's not too taxed, making sure that my disks on the back end aren't too taxed. Those kind of things. All right, I finished that row. Now I just need to finish this last. I got a little bit more stuff to finish. Oh wow, so many zeros. Sometimes these zeros motivate students to go back and do more work, so it's always good. It's very synth sounding. That's very much like a synthesizer. All right. Gotta put some zeros in for people not doing their work. I always do the zeros first. Then I'll have to find them later when I'm going through my speed grader. I know I can't show you guys what I'm doing. That's fine. There's FERPA laws for that. Huh, I actually spelled it right. Yep. Not that it would be smart to be showing that stuff anyways, but you also physically can't. So legal, right? Yeah, and we have a few labs that show you guys some of the basics of like the structures of scripting and that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Also, let me see. Yeah, if you guys hop down in the Discord, you also get you get welcomed by the bot, right? The bot was written by Fisherman Guy Bro. It's aptly named Fisherman Guy Bot, and it basically has two functions. It welcomes you guys to the servers, and it pisses me off. Those are the two things it does. And feel free to go in the Discord and test that if you guys want, because that's kind of what it does. So, but yeah, so fun fact about, we were talking anime a little bit. I'm a big fan of anime. I have Crunchyroll. I actually have High Dive as well, which, I mean, I'd think you'd have to be an anime fan to know what High Dive is. It's funny how it spells that too, but I actually enjoy anime from both of those shows, or from both of those sites. My wife will watch stuff with me. Like, we're pretty far. We're almost done with Black Clover. I think we're like about 150 of those in or something. And then we've been keeping up on Solo Leveling. I've had the wife finish a lot of animes with me. Hunter x Hunter's one. I had watched that before I watched it with her. I kind of agree with her on it, though. Like, they spent way too long with the Chimera Ants. If any of you guys remember that, it was... Yeah, if you go to Discord, you have to call me. Yeah, the bot will incorrectly spell my name if you go on Discord and know my name. So, yeah, the bot basically just makes me mad all the time. That's all. That's one of its functions. And if you ask it questions with the exclamation mark ask, it will it will answer you as though it is a crusty old Linux admin. So you can kind of get the feel of working with some old Unix and Linux guy who just doesn't give a shit about being there anymore, but nobody knows what he does, so he gets to stay until he passes off his task to a bunch of other people. Yeah, Kolkis, Hunter x Hunter was great. They never finished making the anime from the manga, so if you want to finish it, you got to go read more. Yeah, it likes to insult people in general. Yeah. I'm a big fan of all that stuff. I like anime. Like, I explain to people, you know, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. So, like, what do you guys remember if you guys were around in the 90s? What was, like, the breakthrough, breakout, best CGI of, like, the 80s and 90s? Like, in the 90s, late 90s, if you guys remember, Neo dodging the bullets was, like, this... like a breakthrough animation, right? And that was like late 90s. There was a movie called oh shit, they were all underwater, and like the water was kind of like this alien being, and it was alive. Stargate was great CGI in the 90s, yes, true. But this is what I tell people, right? Like, I try to explain this to people. This will be an interesting thing, because some of you guys will maybe have never thought of this, but to tell the stories you wanted to tell in the 80s and 90s, you almost had to do it with animation, like as a cartoon or you know, an anime of some type. And the reason I say that is because you couldn't develop the character. Now they can make a whole effing movie in CGI, right? Like some of these, if you guys watch some of the Resident Evil stuff, some of that stuff you come in and you don't even realize until like they zoom in on people's faces that it's an anime, because it's so good, right? But that's CGI. CGI wasn't there in the 70s and 80s and 90s. So we had to watch stuff, if you guys get what I'm saying, like to tell the stories they wanted to tell, they needed to do it in animation. There was no option for live animation with CGI back then, if that kind of makes sense. Yeah, Dune was pretty good, but even if you go back and watch the CGI for Dune, it was very blocky. It was obviously like overlaid later, and it was excellent. Also, one of my favorite things about if you go watch Dune from like the early '80s, late '70s, early '80s, Patrick Stewart is already old in that. Linux was born, I think, in '91. Is that right? I think that's when Linus Torvalds released, '91 or '92. So, I didn't get into Linux until the early 2000s. I want to say like 2003-ish is kind of when I got into it. Before that, I had been doing a whole lot of Cisco networking stuff, but I was in the Army, so I didn't. I was an infantry guy, so I didn't really get to do any of that stuff professionally. I just did it in like night school at the college. So I didn't get to do Linux. Yeah, I didn't do Linux until it was already being put in TiVos and stuff by that point. So I didn't do it in the 90s. So, oh yeah, you don't have to do all that, but I appreciate it. But you don't have to do all that. Yeah, so guys, this is the course, right? The course is here for you guys. It is to help you learn the things that a lot of us had to learn the hard way, which was the school of hard knocks. You guys can just go in and start doing get ready to be an administrator, to understand like what's going to be asked of you, how your work's going to come in, what you're going to be asked to do as an administrator day to day, like what the job looks like, how you can get your skills up there, where you're ready to kind of take that mantle of watching over a company's set of servers, and being able to maintain them and keep them going forward. That's the kind of stuff we do. So, oh man, I don't even think I've ever seen that before. One Lush over on YouTube. Welcome to Prolog. Nice. Well, hopefully this stuff's useful to you. Also, make sure you guys know that you can always hop in our Discord and just kind of hang out. Let me finish grading. I've got papers now to grade, and it doesn't look like too many of them got turned in. So, I guess I won't be doing too much. But yeah, you guys are welcome to kind of hang out and shoot the breeze, ask me questions, check on Ranger Dog. But Ranger is not on his bed right now. Where is Ranger? It's kind of warm outside in Phoenix right now. It's 81 right now. Ty, you've been spending time with Callie trying to upgrade your InfoSec skills. Nice. This course that's coming up, the Linux Security Engineering course, it's going to be all defensive. We're doing all defensive side of things, like so locking Linux down. But I had originally planned to do a blue and a red team at the same time, and the red team stuff will be heavily Kali, and it will be heavily using those tools. I just didn't have time to do it for this one. So we'll do another security engineering course in the future, which will focus on red team stuff. And what I mean by that will be everything along the MITRE attack or MITRE kill chain, if you're familiar. Yeah, Ranger very rarely is not on his bed. He might be outside, but 81 is a little warm for him to be outside. But he is kind of like shedding right now, so maybe he's just out there like letting his hair come off as like a clumpy old, because he kind of like sheds his undercoat when it gets warm in Phoenix, because it was cool a few weeks ago even. Me and the wife have a little tool that actually it's not a Flowbee, but it's like one of those you guys have ever seen like the wire, like kind of the harder wire brushes, but they're not hard wires, like they don't hurt them, but just you can use them to kind of like get the coat off your dog, and then you push a little button and you've got the vacuum running and it just sucks all the hair right into the vacuum. So that's a kind of nice one. So yeah. So yeah, when we go to that one, Ty, I will let you know for sure. Also, one of the members of our community actually, what did he build? It's like Malbian. One of the guys that kind of hangs out here sometimes built Malbian Linux. So, for malware analysis, because I believe, and I have to go check the server, I'm pretty sure that this person just passed their like PNJT or whatever that is. Ranger sheds all the frickin' time, whether it's cold or not. Ranger's a shedder, big time. Actually, when people follow, typically Ranger pops up on our screen over on the Twitch side. I don't know if I saw it this last time, but normally he like greets you guys and tells you Linux going on out back. And he looks very uninterested. No, we love Ranger. He's a good dog. All right. Where was I? Oh, I'm grading stuff. So let me get back to grading a little bit. If I had to guess, I probably have about 30 of these papers to do. I'm looking at the grade book. Probably got about 30 of them to do. So I'll just be sitting here, head down on that. You guys let me know if you have any questions about this stuff, or if you want to know about like what we're looking at over on the left there with the monitors and stuff, or what we're monitoring on the right. We're just kind of looking at systems right now, actually, to kind of see what's going on. So, if you guys have questions about that, let me know. Fridays we don't work too hard, you guys know that. So even if I wasn't co-working, I wouldn't be working too hard right now. You got a golden retriever, makes sheds enough to make another dog every couple weeks. Yeah, I have actually said that about Ranger, but I normally say it's like every 3 to 6 months you can make another dog out of his. He just literally has so much hair everywhere. He doesn't even come upstairs. I don't think Ranger's ever used a stair in his life. Like, I don't think he even knows how to use stairs because he's so old now. But with Ranger, because he's got so much hair on the floor down there, that we've been taking to always, we will vacuum the first first 5 steps of our stairs, because there's just so much hair that'll be in there from basically being taken off of our. I mean, I switch off of sandals to my feet as I come upstairs, and even with that, you're still like hair is still coming up. So we have to like do that every now and then. Ranger he makes so much hair. He'll be back there though. I have no doubt he'll be back there soon. I don't know why he's not on his bed right now, but maybe he's out there laying in the shade somewhere, being in charge of everything. He actually has, so this is the time of the year we have rabbits in the yard. Rabbits will hop up in the backyard sometime. And Ranger just, 5 years ago he would have chased them, but now he just looks at them and he's like, whatever, they're not bugging me. He doesn't chase them. He doesn't bug them. Oh, yeah. There's a time of day. Hold on. You guys can't see it in this angle, but sometimes the camera's a little to the left and you guys can see a door over there. So there's this, and then there's a little bit of wall, and then there's a door just to the left of this over here. And the light will come in that door as the sun's setting behind my house over here. And when it shines and it goes right down this hallway with this, you see the tile. So the light will be coming down. It'll look like something out of like Indiana Jones. And you will just see the Ranger hair piled up in the edges. And my wife tries to like dust and tries to like do those little Swiffer vacuum things. And she tries to vacuum. She's got a pretty good little vacuum for hair. Ranger just produces so much hair that it'll be kind of glistening in the hallway. And it'll look like something out of an Indiana Jones movie, It's kind of funny. This is our 6th anniversary. Me and the wife have been married for 6 years now. We've known each other for almost 22, but we only got married about 6 years ago. Actually, exactly 6 years ago today. But we've been kind of on and off, and then we've been back together since 2016. So 9 years together, and then 6 years married. So yeah, it's pretty good. Be 31 in June. Nice. Yeah, her parents are 55 this year. 55 years of marriage. So we did their golden 5 years ago here at the house, and they really loved that. We just did one of her other friends' golden anniversary too. Me and the wife are a little older, so we'll maybe make it to like 30 something. Who knows? You never know, but yeah, but it's pretty good. We have a good time. In fact, I don't even know where she is. I thought she'd have been back already from her lunch date, but yeah, she's pretty good. We got a grandbaby too, so that's kind of fun. Yeah. All right, so where are we at here? We have all this stuff around. I'm gonna grade some stuff here. You guys feel free to talk amongst yourselves. Let me know if you guys have questions. I am going to. Is this thing running? Okay, yeah. I'm gonna just keep grading this project part 2. It's a module 2 project I'm grading. And this one, this is probably like the 15th time I've taught this class for the college. So for me, it's pretty quick to to grade these things because I know exactly what I'm looking for, First one, 60 out of 60. Good. 6 grandkids. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That's a fair amount. I do have a lot of nieces and nephews, though. So I have 4 brothers, and then the wife has 4 siblings as well. So we have, I think, 22 nieces and nephews now. So, yeah, it's somewhere between 20 and 22. I have to count them up every now and then. We actually have like a little spreadsheet that we keep track of them all, which I also think is really funny. Let's see, that's good. So that grades 60 out of 60. And then that one is also good. The first course, this is almost like a little chip shot, the first project. They just have to set up a router and do an IP route, grep-i default. They have to basically do this command right here, right? Something like this. Because for you guys that don't do a whole lot of networking or don't do a lot of system stuff, this is an important thing to know as a systems administrator, because if your system, a Linux box will work perfectly fine without a default route. However, if you don't have a default route and you do try to go to something that's not in one of these prefix matches here, you will not send it anywhere. It'll just get dropped on the floor. And you won't be able to ping things, and you won't be able to talk to things outside your system. So you really want to make sure that you have a default route in most anything connected to a TCP/IP network, right? That's like a very, very big thing. Yeah, I can't keep up with all nieces and nephews either. We have a game room downstairs. It's in the Discord somewhere, but the wife and her dad built a nice set of shelves. I think they spent about $1,100 building this really nice set of shelves, and we have close to 200. I think we're a little over 200 now. Board games down there, so we have a lot. E. Brown said, "Does it matter which Linux distro, Ubuntu or Rocky, for the Linux course?" No, you could use either. There are actually both options within the like initial setup, but then what I always tell you is each week is basically standalone. So there's nothing that I built into it that requires you to have done the previous weeks to like be ready. As far as like the labs and stuff go, each lab is standalone. But some labs I do kind of assume that you're in our lab environment. So we have a lab environment that you guys can use for it. And if you don't want to use like your own system, or you struggle to maybe set up, all the extra virtual disks or that kind of stuff, I have a bunch of boxes that already have all that. So if we just jump over to like Rocky 15, any of the Rocky boxes, fdisk-l for XVD, you would see these systems have 3 gig disks already attached to them, and they are ready to do like lab 3, which is to build disks out and any of that kind of stuff. So wondering if there's any Cisco involved. How many of you guys are working in the industry? There's probably a few guys. So of me and my brothers, I'm heavily in high performance compute and Linux type stuff. So, almost strictly about security. I do all kinds of security stuff. I also do configuration stuff, and I'm kind of well known or well sought out within my company for my automation skills, especially around Ansible. I have a brother who's almost done with his master's in it's data analytics, and he works in the field. He's been about 3 years in data analytics stuff. So he is he's actually looking at probably a pretty significant raise where he's at, and he's actually looking at that right now, even before he gets his degree. But once he has his degree, he's only got about 2 more years before he retires from a company. Yeah, he'll retire in his early 40s, but he can also just jump anywhere else, probably for $250,000. He's probably low end like $250,000 a year, because that's about what you make with his data analytics background. So that's good. One of my other brothers runs OpenShift and Kubernetes for a really big insurance company, and he's an infrastructure engineer 6 over there. He doesn't even have a college degree. He's one of the guys that I always tell you about, like get in there and just do this stuff. And you can raise up even without a degree. The degree is less important than the knowing how to do it, I think. I really do. So I happen to have degrees and I happen to be a college professor, but I don't push people into that. The Linux course doesn't require any of that stuff. It's designed to get you guys thinking like engineers and administrators. Administration is the light end of engineering, right? So, all right, anyways. Tigrel, you didn't retire from the military, did you? Yeah. My one brother, though, the one that does data analytics, he's not making what he's worth in the industry yet. He will be making that here in the next few years, but he is staying loyal to his company, and they're not paying him anywhere near where I think he could be. Oh, you guys see Ranger there? Yeah, there's Ranger popping up on screen. I love that little dog. That's a little pop-up when people join the Discord. He just kind of looks around like he's not super impressed. Not the Discord, Twitch, when people join Twitch. So, all right. Hey, it's Chauncey. Hopefully this stuff's useful to you. Oh, there's Ranger. Is Ranger back on his bed? Yeah, he's looking like he probably did he probably just walked around like a sentry, did 80 steps one way, 80 steps one way, 80 steps another way around the backyard, came back in. Oh, yeah. Well, Ty, we don't judge around here, you know. It's people do what they do. We don't require anybody to have done any certain things to hang out. It's just open for everybody, right? All right, so where are we at here? I'm grading papers. Let me get back to grading papers, and then if you guys need questions or stuff, just let me know. That's 60 out of 60 as well. Look at this, super easy. All right. Yeah, over in Virginia. Yeah. I can imagine. Me and the wife were in Virginia. When were we out there last? A couple of years ago, we went out there for a wedding. Went down, and then we hung out for a little bit down in Kitty Hawk too. Didn't got to see all that stuff, birthplace of flight and all that stuff. Hey, it's Chauncey. Hey, was pointed to Discord by a coworker. Was laid off a few months ago from teaching full stack web dev at a boot camp. Feeling very lost behind and thinking focus on Linux might be better for me because I enjoyed a lot getting Arch running a lot. Yeah. Well, Chauncey, you're welcome to hang out with us. We do a lot of Linux around here. We are starting a new Linux sysadmin and a Linux security course tomorrow. So on Saturdays, we're going to be doing meetings on the Discord. So if you guys jump in the Discord, there's a little meeting or events section, and you can go in there. That's all free. It doesn't. Yeah. So I'll write this out, but it's all free in the Discord. None of our courses cost anything. Now I say that none of our courses cost anything in the Discord, and that's true. There is a book that you guys can buy, but the book is unrelated to any of this. Well, it's still Linux, but the book is like a very technical dive into the Linux labs and gives you more like depth of things. Whereas this Linux admin course is going to be about the tasks and the things that we do as Linux administrators. So, yeah. Actually, YouTube doesn't get. I guess YouTube doesn't get ads. That's my understanding, or some people use other things to deal with that. YouTube keeps audio running. Well, that's nice. That's nice. All right, so we've got that stuff running. Let me finish. I got a few more things to grade here. Yep, full points. I've got about 30 more left or so. That one's done. That one's done. 60 out of 60. Good grades. Good grades to start a course out with. 60 out of 60. So I think I heard the wife come home, so the wife might be home right now. If you guys hear me typing a lot, that's when I got to correct somebody. And that slows me down significantly. So, hey, Chauncey, I started looking at it, seen one of the courses, planning on going through it. I have fundamentals of Linux, but don't know much for what I have versus what I need. Yeah, so, Chauncey, what I was starting to say, and I typed it out just so you knew, we're starting 2 courses tomorrow. One is Linux Systems Administration. That's going to be down in the Discord. We're just going to be hanging out. If you go look at the events in Discord, you can sign up for them. They're free. Nothing. We don't charge anything around here. There's also like little study groups that always spawn, and people just hang out and do all that kind of stuff. Yeah, E Brown, the Linux distro Ubuntu Iraqi, doesn't matter for the Linux courses. No. I said Ubuntu or Rocky. Whatever. But Chauncey, yeah. So you, again, like the books. The book in Discord, which is this one here, I'll link it to you guys. This is for the Linux sysadmin course. That is completely free, right? And that is still getting worked on by the guys right now, and that'll still be getting published up. And the Linux sysadmin course, we meet down in the Discord and we talk through stuff, and I give you guys these presentations that are not part of any of that, and we talk about like where the work comes from, and we just talk about a lot of stuff for about an hour. And then I send you off to do all the work, and then you guys work through stuff as either your own individual or whatever, but then there's some discussion questions and some labs and some other stuff. So it'll feel a lot like a college class, but it's free. It takes probably about 8 to 10 hours worth of work a week to get through all of this stuff because there's a lot to it, right? But hopefully if you guys do it, you find that you feel very comfortable moving into like a Linux admin type role. So... And then there's also a Linux security engineering course that we're starting tomorrow, and that one is going to be less basic and more about securing the actual operating system, like we do in the. I work mostly in the high performance compute space, but I've also worked to secure Linux for insurance companies and for research companies. So I've done a lot of securing Linux over the years. So there's all that kind of stuff. Def Not Freddy, is there a better way to switch target if the user's localhost can be any other user, preferably localhost if Ansible? Destination, lookup, home. For backup target, localhost, any else environment, home. Config this user. I'd have to look at that, Def Not Freddy. I'd have to look at that in context. So localhost tends to talk about where you're, that we use that in place of like a host group as an inventory. So then we're only hitting the one host. If lookup environment home, if backup target equals localhost, else. Yeah, I don't know. Like I'd guess Def Not Freddy, I'd have to look at like what your use case is to understand what you're doing there. I don't know. One, I don't know a lot of those variables. Yeah. Yeah, I've never done anything kind of like what you're working there. Ty, I have over here. I'll link it to you. I have a few different sets of Killer Coda labs. But I do have, I'm, I wouldn't say quite proud of, but I think there's a good body of work here for my Ansible labs. These are also talked about in the book, so if you're doing the book, it's through there. Ansible is a great tool. There's Ansible labs over on the Twitch side and on the YouTube side. Those are all free, by the way, guys. Like, there's nothing in Killer Coda that gets charged for. I have more to build of these as well, but we're at where we're at for now because I'm gonna be focusing on the Linux group stuff soon. All right, let me get some less grades in. Perfect grade. Nothing in there. Well, there's always the opportunity. So Hayes, you would really like talking to one of my buddies who is a economist because everything is an opportunity cost of time. Hey, wifey, you're on stream. What's up?
Oh, okay. I'm on my way home. Did you? Actually, I'm going to drop some off at my parents' house, and I'll be heading home. Do you need anything?
I'm not hungry, but what are you thinking?
I mean, I could just pick up some snacky snacks for later.
I think the people are going to agree with snacky snacks for later.
Sounds good.
All right.
I'll pick you out something good.
Loves you.
Love you, bye.
Bye. All right. The wife's sending me. The wife's bringing me snacky snacks later. She's dropping some off at her parents' house too. So and then she'll be home, and then I'll probably have to get off of here because gotta obviously do date night. We do date nights on Friday nights, but also it is big date night. Because it's the anniversary, right? So Chinese food. Yeah, I had Fazoli's for lunch, so I'm still like very full. I went and met with one of my buddies for Fazoli's, one of my wrestling buddies, and then we're gonna go. Whoops, what's going on here? Okay, students got their stuff. Good. Got tooth kids for. You had another one come out, Hayes? I know you had one like a few weeks back. You had another one pulled out. Jeez. Yeah, Chauncey, thanks for that. Yeah, it's a good anniversary, good wife, good time. Yeah. I tell you guys a lot of this stuff, like it's getting into this is really about spending time at the command line. Try to get yourself in there a little bit each day. Just like going to the gym, a little bit of time at the gym each week, each day of the week is better than trying to do a whole bunch on a Sunday or something. So, same one. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's wild. They're hitting you with pulling more teeth out. That's always rough. I had, when I was 28, I had all my wisdom teeth out. They weren't hurting in any way, but they were level 5, which I guess is the highest level they can be. They were called severe and impacted. They were down underneath my other teeth, and they had never come up. But what they were doing was, I've always had perfectly straight teeth my whole life, and my bottom teeth were pushing together. So I was like, all right, I got to get these things out. So I got them all out, and I was pretty well jacked up for quite some time off of that. I even had to get there was like an infection on one of the teeth that had to get like lanced and had to be on meds and stuff. But then, yeah, I haven't had anything major like that since. So thankfully it's been a lot better. 0, wrong assignment. I wonder if students try that often, like to put the wrong assignment in to see if the teacher will just give them grades. But I always look at the assignments, so I don't, you put in a wrong assignment from a different class, I'm going to catch that 100 times out of 100 because I literally look for my markers on every assignment. Like the things that I look for, I look for on every assignment, so. Hold on real quick. This is not all the info. Oh shit. I gotta zoom in on this one because this one does not have all the info that they should have. Alright. Started back with Vim in 96. Nice. Let's see. Good info there. 60 out of 60. Hold on. I do gotta send something to the wife. Hold on. Ranch. Let's see. Let's tell her ranch corn nuts. You guys ever seen we used to do it all the time in World of Warcraft back in the day, but the Please K Thanks Bye. It's PLZKTHXBAI. That's what I just sent her. I was like, corn nuts, please, K, thanks, bye. I think that's funny. All right, anyways, hold on. How's this one going? 60 out of 60. Boom. We're over halfway done, guys. We're almost there. That is 60 out of 60. Good. Yeah, okay, thanks. Bye. Yeah, we used to use that all the time, and it's all kinds of stuff. Need to show the default route for full points. All right, we're getting down to last. Well, it's 20 left, but it's not all of them are turned in, so it'll be less than 20. All right, right IP. Yep, good. 60 out of 60. Learned Fedora in school, but gravitated Debian. Yeah, Ty, those are all fine. I tell people that the one I said Debian, not Debbie, but there's all DEBIAN. All right. Anyways, one of the things about it is any version of Linux you want to use is fine. I tell people, like, if you're not doing any Linux, get in some Linux. If you're not doing any command line, get in something. If you are doing some, like let's say you're doing Arch Linux in the home lab or you're doing whatever, I do recommend to people when you start to get ready to go professional, you're going to find RHEL, Rocky, Slez, Ubuntu. Those are the ones that are used heavily. Debbie Win. Yeah, those are the ones that are used heavily in the industry, and that's SLES, which is SUSE Linux Enterprise Server, right? And they are, so all of those are the ones that are used, so those are the ones that I tell people to spend more time with. Not because you look, if you're doing zero, right? Like let's talk about like car mechanics. If you're doing no car mechanics work, but then you have an opportunity to start like working on a Beamer, working on like a BMW or a Beamer would be better than not working on any cars. But if you're going to go work in a Chevy dealership, it might be best to go like work on Chevy trucks, right? Or Chevy vehicles, right? So my point in saying all that is you will find that as a professional, this is often the case of engineering and administrators. We don't get to do the fun thing. We do the thing that's necessary, right? So like I would love to just do fun stuff all day and spin servers up and test them and benchmark them. But what I end up doing most of the time is watching my friends do that while I'm securing the boxes. Yeah. So yeah. So all this stuff is all this stuff is good. Yeah, Crash SUSE is great. And then SLES, which is SUSE Linux Enterprise Server. And that uses a few different. So the main things about like the bash command line don't change. Your constructs of for loops and whiles and all that stuff's the same. So your scripting is 90% the same. But what changes is the underlying your software management stack changes. All of your networking stack changes, and sometimes some of your security stuff changes. But other than that, like I'd say like 80-85% of stuff is the same. That's why I tell you guys, get into any Linux you can to start, and then start tuning over into stuff as you get ready to go do this stuff professionally. Hayes said, do I have a channel for requests for comments on a GitHub project? I would say in the Discord, if it were me asking that, I guess either DevOps, like if it's a DevOpsy type question, you could always ask anything like that because that's a technical thing. You could ask that just in general. If it's security related, there's like the Tech Talk section that it shows up at the top for me. But I would say that's probably a DevOps thing depending on what you're doing, or it may be a general. That's where I would put stuff. Just, we don't really hammer people very much. Like I have a few mods, and my mods don't do much, but um, there are things that you'll get a better response if they're in the right channel. And I'd say that one could be either probably DevOps or just general, depending on what you're asking. Yeah, if it's DevOps, you ask it in DevOps for sure. Like, I don't think most of us, like, our Discord's not so big that, like, we only monitor certain channels. I tend to, I tend to crawl around in there most of the day. So I'm almost always somewhere around to see stuff. I keep it pretty cleaned up as far as, like, what's going on in there. All right, we're almost done. Once I'm done, I can pop up and do some stuff. We do some Linux. Hang out and talk about some stuff. That's a 60 out of 60. All right, let's keep going. That is not... That's most of it. I need to tell them to... There's a video if you need help finishing the lab for full points. That's what I'm telling my college student. All right, keep going, keep going. Grading, grading, grading. Almost done grading. Almost to the end, guys. I'm almost there. Yeah, Ty, we try to keep things. I think we try to keep things reasonable for people. I mean, we make people do a lot of work, but it's also to the task at hand, right? Like to the Linux we're trying to teach them. All right, give me a second here. I'm on my last I'm on my last 5 papers right now. Hold on. And if they're good, I blow right through them because they've got all the components and I give them all the points, right? But if they're bad, then I got to dig in and write some. So give me a second here. That's good. Last 2. That's 60 out of 60. And the very last one. That's it. That's all of it. All right. Let me get that out of the way. I don't need to grade anymore for today. Let me pop this up. Let me pull my camera back on. Got to get rid of the filter because I don't have my green screen behind me, so it'll look like crap without it. All right, there we go. All right, we're here. I'm back. Same screen, but now you can see me, and I got the other stuff out of the way. So let's we can keep talking about stuff. The labs will also be completed. Are they considered tickets? Yeah, Ebron, you don't have to turn them in as tickets. You're just going to keep everything until the end. And typically you guys just turn it all into me at once. And then I just make sure everything's done. I make sure that everything was at least attempted. And then I try to help you out if there's anything that's stuck. And then there's also a project, guys. There's a project in the Linux sysadmin course. It's not just so it's labs and worksheets each week and discussion questions, but then there's an overarching thing that's always happening, which is the project. I can pull that up right now if you guys want. Hold on, I'll pull up what the project looks like for people. Let's go Linux group. Here's the sysadmin course. And here is, this is what I was talking about earlier. Remember I was saying the syllabus? Here's the syllabus for this next. This is the course that's starting tomorrow. We'll be reviewing the syllabus, but these are the topics we're going to go over right here. And funny enough, I might have to go steal something from the other one real quick because I also wrote for this one here in the security engineering course, I put this one together and I updated the dates. So this is what we're doing in the Linux Systems Administration course, but I might need to going to 30 May, and then I might have to continue this one out, right? So I have to continue this out, but these will be the dates for the new course right here. But these are the things we're going to do. We're going to get into Linux. We're going to make sure everybody can get in that needs to, right? Make sure that people have a way to get into Linux. That's going to be a big part of it. Um, and then we're going to start to do like essential tools and file redirects and using the command line. And then we're going to do storage, but while you're doing storage, you're going to be picking up more command line. Then we're going to be operating a running system, which is just looking at users that are on and just everything about keeping the system running. Then we're going to do some security, basic security, adding users, removing users, running the firewall, that kind of stuff. Basic security stuff, patching the servers. This will be, security light, but for an administrator. Then we do some scripting, and I show you a little bit of ways to check systems. And at that point, you can run off and do all kinds of other cool stuff. But then we go into Docker and Kubernetes at least the bare minimum of getting them running. Because if you can get them running here, you can help somebody troubleshoot that's having problems when they're asking you stuff in a trouble ticket, right? Monitoring systems and looking at how we monitor things. We'll do some engineering stuff, which is like system baseline benchmark testing, to talk about the capacity of your systems and what they're doing. We'll talk about system hardening, which is another piece of security, but at some level, it's just understanding what's going on and what packages are there. We'll do some Ansible stuff. We'll do some troubleshooting, and we'll look at troubleshooting as an administrator and as an engineer. And then we'll do some incident response, and we'll have I have an actual set of call outs that I make you guys do in the labs for that part. We'll be doing both. I have been recommending to people, let me show you guys something. You could do both courses, right? So here, if we go here, the courses, obviously since I'm running them, they won't be overlapped. But look, we got the Linux sysadmin course at 3 my time. In your time, it'll be on your time on your Discord. And then there's 5 p.m. my time as the Linux engineering course. Could you do both of them? Yes, there's nothing stopping you guys. I'm not going to be taking attendance. There's no actual prereq for this course. But I'm going to tell you this one thing. This course will show you everything. It'll be very straightforward. I think I don't want to call it easy. I want to call this foundational. This is a simple course. We will crawl in this course through a lot of stuff, and we will do it start to finish. This course is not going to be any of that. Like, there's not going to be any like hand holding inside of the Linux world, if that makes sense. Like down here, I assume that you know how to do a CD, a PWD, and an LS. Like, I'm not going to help you. Not that I'm not going to help you guys. I would help you guys if you needed help with that, but not during the course. Because if we're talking about stuff and we're working through stuff, we've got to be working, to the goal. Basically, this is like a walk-run course. This is a crawl-walk course, if you want to think of it like that, in the crawl-walk-run methodology, which is an old military methodology. But yeah, the events are there. You guys, even if you sign up and don't come to them, that's fine. There will be a report that people are going to write out. Yeah. In fact, I was going to point this out today. There's a thing that is going to kind of cover a lot of what's going on in the security course. There is an overarching thing that we're going to be doing, which is this right here. I'll link it to you guys. We're going to be doing Linux throughout the 10-week course. But one of the things we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at administrative safeguards. This is in the first week. Physical safeguards, technical safeguards. But then we're going to apply them as though, and I'm going to build a project. We're just going to make a project that's just, like, I'm not going to give people the option. In the Linux course, you have the option of any project you want. In this course, I'm going to write the project, and you're going to do a report. And it's going to be around applying HIPAA. Your company gets bought. All of a sudden, you're going to be running HIPAA data, or your company lands a new contract, and you've done a business agreement with another company, and now you have these HIPAA rules that are immediately going to apply to a subset of your servers that you're building out. This is we'll start off with what are we doing, like who's this affect, and then here's our general rules. We have to ensure these things, and we got to do a risk analysis and management, so we need to understand that. We need to understand our administrative, and we're going to have to turn some of this into what we're actually doing on our systems. And then down here under organizational requirements, we have to have policies and procedures, so we're going to need to go find some of those. We need to have documentation and probably have a centralized repository. We need to have these things available, and then we need to periodically review, typically every 6 months or so, your documentation or any changes that are happening, right? And then you have to certify that those things have been updated. So there's all these things that kind of come into this that are on the business side of things. We're going to be securing Linux over here, but we're also going to be preparing a report as though we were doing it for a certain thing. So that's going to become part of that overall. Oh, I got to finish that shit. I got more to finish. All right, I got stuff to do still, but that's what we're going to be kind of doing there. Yeah, security course is going to start tomorrow, and as is the Linux sysadmin course. Although, if you miss the Linux sysadmin course, I'm not going to be re-recording them. If you miss the Linux sysadmin course, we've already got that recorded. There's actually, on the YouTube side of things, we already have a playlist of all 16 weeks. You can go watch them all right now. You've got the book, you've got them. But if you want to go through the course with us, you're going to have to do the discussion questions. You're going to have to fill out your worksheet. You're going to have to fill out your lab. You're going to have to do all that kind of stuff as well. So, yeah, lots and lots of stuff to do. You guys are going to feel like Ranger when I'm done. The main thing is, though, it's like you guys can affect as much change as you want in your understanding of things. I'm going to give you guys like a framework of things to look at and understand, and then if you want to spin off and you're doing this all and you're like, oh, I really like that one part of compliance, and go do that. Nobody says you can't be an expert in that. How do you become an expert in it? You study it, you understand it well, you get somebody to pay you for it, right? You can do all this stuff. Yeah, YouTube, I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to do recordings for the security one yet. I have to... I have a little bit more level of effort to put into that one to make it kind of like as clean as I want it to be. But if I can get it where I want, then I'll do recordings for it. I don't want to be recording stuff and wasting everybody's time, right? Try to make the recordings like to the point. I'm trying to keep the recordings under an hour or right around an hour. Although if I wanted to on some of these topics, I could just talk for hours. But that doesn't help as much, I think, as pointing you guys in the right direction and let you go and figure it out and then come back and talk with each other and get questions. And I feel like the more you adjust and correct your course as you learn things, the faster I think you learn it. I really do believe that. Like, you spend a little time with it, you come back and talk with some people about it. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Oh, that is tied into that, isn't it? And then all of a sudden you're like off on a different tangent that you hadn't even thought about, but that's what somebody else, or then there's something that you blew right through and you knew, but somebody else struggled with it and you help them with that, right? And this is how cohorts work. This is how, any group of people that are trying to get the same level of understanding of things work together, right? This is what we do. So, this song is kind of going hard, isn't it? That's pretty good. I'm going to put I like that track. Let's go to the next one. All right. So that's what the course is going to look like. What we'll do typically is down here under, looks like there's some Q&A stuff. Typically I'll put stuff under Prologue projects. So I'll start having the new questions in here. And then so the questions will look just like the old questions. It's just they'll be for round 2. So it'll be round 2 questions. They're going to pop up sometime tomorrow in there. And then I'll also have the security ones in there as well. And the security ones are different. You want to stay within your lane, within your course or whatever. Also, when you write up your post, you also want to keep that post for yourself so you can turn those all in at the end as well. So I'll make sure you guys all know that as well. The 24. Since you mentioned the security aspect, do you have a tool to assist with you in writing down notes, etc., to reference back to? Yeah, so I have a few tools that I use for note taking. A lot of times I'm over here in just simply in OneNote, right? Or this is Notepad++, sorry. OneNote's also good, but Notepad++ is great. When we're doing the security reporting of very specific STIGs, we're going to be using the STIG tool. The STIG tool looks like this. Let me see if I have it here. Hold on. Let me go grab the STIG viewer. And there's no dark mode for it. So don't I mean, there is a dark mode for it. It just doesn't work right. Here's a STIG viewer right here. It's going to pop up. It's going to be really bright. Right. So what will happen here is you'll be able to take, let's say we're doing a Red Hat server, or we're doing Red Hat 9, which is our STIGs for our Rocky boxes. Now I'm going to export a checklist from the Mark STIGs, and now I've got a checklist that's 401 total rules, and we are going to apply these rules and build reports that do checkouts of these rules in the system. Now, did I build that lab? Oh, I got to build that lab tomorrow too, or later tonight maybe. Well, it depends on what me and the wife are doing. Sometimes we hang out in here and just watch shows, but and then I can work a little bit on stuff. But yeah, these are the 401 rules, and then we'll do scanning to get most of this to see where our system's at, and then we'll go fix them or remediate them and that kind of stuff as well. So there we go. Close without saving. All right. So yeah, the Discord's there for you guys, right, to hang out in there as much as you want. Okay, where was I at here? Yeah, this is, by the way, these are the notes from the last few days when I was streaming and we were talking about like what an administrator needs to know. And these were all put up in the Discord last night, I think, or maybe this morning, I forget. I put them in the meeting notes section. So, hi there, I was wondering about some kind of self-host stuff like Bind9 and DDNS, but my understanding is that I have to have local domains free. No, viewer 2, hold on. Let me look at that question real quick. Viewer 2, hi there, I was wondering about using some kind of self-host stuff like Bind9 and DDNS. My understanding is that I can have local domain. Yeah, so, well, viewer, if you want to run stuff internal to your home lab and you want to run your own internal DNS and you don't want to point anything out, you could run your own internal Google that's called Google, and all your servers would know it as google.com. There wouldn't be any problem with that. But if you're talking about like self-hosting stuff for the world, typically to place yourself somewhere on the web with you need to have like a domain name, and typically you have to get that through a web registrar. So you could pay and do that yourself, but that would probably be difficult and costly. What most people use is like AWS. You can go and get a domain. GoDaddy, that's what GoDaddy does well. They're still, I believe, the biggest registrar in the world for domain names. There's other ones. Where's the one that everybody uses? Cloudflare. There's a different one. Anyway, the point is you can go find a domain that's not being used and you can register it. Then once you control that domain, you can point that back to anything you want. But I can almost guarantee you if you have certain internet, you're not going to have port 80 open, so you're going to be blocked on some of that stuff. Namecheap, there you go. I don't even know what that is, but I'm sure that is fine. But the point is you want to make sure that you have, whatever your site is locked in, right? Where's our site at? Right here. And then you can point it. This is actually local to my home lab, but when you connect to this, you go to Cloudflare. So, Cloudflare. I keep saying that. CloudFront. CloudFront is the AWS service that I use in front of everything. So. Viewer 2, you can do everything internal, free, and open source. Yeah. Yeah, you can use your own bind server internally, 100%. Yep. Ty, you already got your own domain. Nice. Yeah. I have a few domains. I don't really use most all of them. We just use the prolug.org for some of this stuff for you guys. And then just want to give people access to the Professional Linux Users Group, site, which was built by Treasure. And then you guys can go look at, different stuff that's starting up. So, the sysadmin course is starting up. The security engineer course is starting up. And just kind of showing you guys what this is going to look like. All right. It's a little bright, so we'll get rid of it. That's okay. There's Ranger. That camera is quite far away from Ranger, too, in case you guys are wondering. He's a much bigger dog than that thing makes you think. He's probably been losing weight. I'd bet he's only about 90 pounds right now. He's lighter than he was, but he's been about 110 at one point in his life. So he's not a small dog. He's just, he's not what you would call a big dog really either. What else? So while on the subject, do you have some recommended for domain name services? From where do Buy securely and cheaply. Buy a good domain. Typically, like you can't ever own a domain. You typically have to just rent it year by year. I know they think of it as registering it, but it's pretty much just renting it. People were saying Namecheap. I know I use AWS. I use GoDaddy for some. I've been using GoDaddy for that for 20 years now since I worked for them. When I worked for them, everything was free, but then after I left, I had to pay them. So that's fine. Not very expensive to run most of that stuff. But yeah, internal you can run Bind. You can set your own little DNS server up and just answer things. And then in your Linux boxes, you just set the etc resolve.conf to only point internal. So like on my system, so here's my resolve.conf that has this one internal actually has name server 8.8.8.8, and that is not great because that's pointed outside. Whereas this one has outside, and then it also has name server internal, which is my internal one. If I set all my systems to only look at 192.168.11.1, they would no longer resolve DNS outside. They would only get DNS from that server. And if I wanted that server not to forward DNS from outside or DNS requests, I could turn it all off and only use internal DNS if I wanted to. So, Electric Machine Driver, just bought the Book of Lab. Nice. Yeah, hopefully it's worth. Well, let me deconflict some things. That book you can start anytime. If you guys buy the book, the book that you could buy is very technical, and it is not necessarily the free stuff. Everything in the Linux sysadmin course is free. So you guys, this book right here is free. It's online. It's everything for the course. That book, the book from the Lean Pub that people can buy if they want, but I haven't necessarily been talking about that. That book is there to go over the technical aspects of it. That is much less concerned with the sysadmin course. So again, there's two parts of Linux. You got to understand the command line. You got to be able to get in here and do basic stuff. That's what that other book's about. The Linux sysadmin course is going to be doing this stuff for a company, understanding how you integrate with a company and where your work's going to come from, trouble tickets, and how you interact with the other engineers, and what you're going to be asked to do and what your tasks are going to look like. That's the kind of stuff I'm trying to show you there, and also what the technologies are and how we keep our systems secure and running, and that's what it is. So hopefully that's clear that the book itself is these discrete tasks. I think it's very valuable because it's discrete tasks, but then the Linux sysadmin course is more about doing the work with Linux, like the value that you add to the company being an administrator, right? So hopefully that clears it. Yeah, you can absolutely go. I'd blow through those labs as much as I could. In fact, you guys see me doing my own labs sometime and going, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember writing that. But yeah, I think we got 60-something labs running around now between me and Fisherman, and then a couple other guys are building labs now too. So it's like there's just gonna be more and more labs out there for you guys to keep working with. So yeah, Legos or Gundams, yeah. All right, where are we at here? So if you guys wanted to see kind of what it looks like when you're in the course, like what you're in for tomorrow if you come to the course, it's very similar to if you watch it. Let's go Linux sysadmin, and I'll go to Unit 1, and I'll pull up my PowerPoint for this week. So this is what my PowerPoint looks like for each week. Again, there's a recording of this stuff already, but this is kind of what we make the course look like. So look, this was from when we originally ran it. We started it September of last year, and we came down and we talked about what we're doing. This one is I changed it here. I should change it only in the other one. It's a long story, but okay. Anyways, we'll review our syllabus. We'll talk about our discussions and our worksheets and our labs, and I'll pull them up and we'll walk through them. Then we'll come down here. Oh, that was all I did in the first week. So in the first week, it was much shorter because there was a lot more in here. But here's the syllabus. So we would walk through the syllabus. We would start up here and say, okay, this is what we're doing. Prologue 101, Linux Systems Administration for the Enterprise. All right. Luckily, tomorrow is the 27th. Oh, okay. So course description. This course addresses how the Linux systems work for the administration level tasks inside a corporate environment. Okay, that's weird. I don't know why I wrote that like that. This course will explore everything from the administration of Linux server and fundamental command line tasks to advanced topics such as patching and web administration. Okay, good. All right, that might be a little too much. A little too much violin for right now. Okay. Course summary. These are the things that we're going to work through. These are what the objectives are, meaning as each week passes and as we do these different things, you're going to know how to do these things. You're going to be able to put these things on a resume and say, I can explain the server build process and hardware system components. From a command line, I can show you what's in the server. I can, tell you if it came up cleanly. I can show you if there's drivers attached to specific modules and kernel and all that stuff. I know how to do that. And some of that you will pick up over time, but that's stuff you're going to do. We're going to analyze system security and implement basic hardening of systems. We'll remove packages that don't need to be there, and we'll close down ports on a running system. That's basic system security, right? Get more into that later in our other course, but construct command line syntax to explore the system and gather resource information. How's the system running? How well is it running? What is it doing? Who's doing what on the system? What disks are connected? What things are mounted? All these things that you need to know, right? And then we'll construct some scripting structures and assign variables, conditional tests, and report output of basic system tasks. Just do stuff, right? Oh, whoops, I did not mean to do that. And then analyze the Apache web server, NFS Samba, Docker, and Kubernetes, describe and troubleshoot networks, and then write and perform Ansible. So these are the things that you'll be able to say, I know how to do when you're all done with the course, right? Oh, shoot, I'm missing that whole other side over there. We come down here. Here's the lab resources that I would think that you'd need. Probably either a cloud server if you wanted to run that. You could run a local VM, or we also have our internal Rocky 9.4 instances, right? They're 9.4 now. And this is what's on them. Come down here a little bit. This is how you connect into our system, Streamer 1 at prolug.asuscom.com. I'll have a new password tomorrow for everybody. And then you'll jump in, you'll be jailed, and you get sent over to the Rocky servers, right? You'll be a jailed user in that you can't break out of this. And, yeah. Get over here, you'll be root on those boxes. You can do whatever you want to them. And then when you're done, you reboot. It'll kick you out of the system, and you'll have a brand new clean system when you reconnect. All right? Here's the instruction plan, the class size, and then here was all the dates, right? And I got to actually finish this. So it'll be 30 May, and then we'll go, what will that be, 6th of June? 6 June. Day before my birthday. What will the next one be? 13 June 2025. And then I guess we would have the 20th of June 2025. Then we would have the 27th June 2025. And then we would have some July. Let's see. We would say well, we're not going to meet that day. We'll meet the 11th of July, and then we'll do the what would that last one be? The 18th of July, 2025. And you might say, why are you skipping the 4th of July? Does anybody know why we skipped the 4th of July? Right? So anyways, these are the new dates right there. All right. And then, yes, there's no March 29th. And then later on in the announcements, I'll announce that we're not going to meet on the 4th of July, because that kind of makes sense, right? Makes sense that we wouldn't meet on, the 4th of July. All right. Yeah, it's starting tomorrow. And again, free. We don't charge anything for it. You guys are welcome to just come hang out. And again, not everybody finishes it, but some people like to just work through it and hang out. You're fine doing that. Not gonna make anybody not do that if they don't want to. You're welcome to hang out and do as much as you kind of want to do for that. So that'll be good. Yeah, it's the first course. So the one that we're doing on this will be the first one tomorrow, which is the Linux sysadmin. This starts you out at the beginning. This is the most beginner course I knew how to make. Yeah, I don't assume that you know much, but I do assume that you're gonna like ramp up and study and work through stuff because there's some challenges in there. And then this one is not going to be for beginners. Again, emphasizing this is not for beginners. You can still come, again, come hang out. Maybe you look and go, oh, I could do all that. I think you could. It's just this is going to be more taxing this is going to be taxing for everybody. This is going to be a hard course because the security stuff is just tedium. In fact, some of you might learn doing this course that the security is not as fun as you thought. Not everything is just sitting there with a hoodie on in the dark saying I'm in, right? That's not what everything is. All right, what happened here? Did I lose my other? Did I close my other course down? I feel like I jacked up my whole presentation. There we go. That. Notepad, that. There we go. All right. Looks like people have more questions. Hold on. What's going on over here? Oh, there were no new questions? I thought there were new questions. Yeah, I thought I saw another question in here. All right. Go to labs. All right, there we go. All right. So, Probable Steve, will we really be learning automation stuff by the end of the first course? You can. Yeah, you can. We're going to touch on it. Probable Steve in, I want to say like week 14. And then I am going to definitely highly recommend early on that people go spend time in the labs. Do you have any resources on setting up a VM to be ready for tomorrow? Jeromichi, no, I don't. But that being said, I do have 19 servers for you guys to use. And one of the things we're going to do while we're talking about it, I'm going to show you guys how to connect and stuff. I'm going to tell you guys to practice connecting and make sure that you can. But you do not have to. In fact, I'm going to ask, don't connect while we're doing the live thing if we can. If somebody really needs to, they can. But I'm going to try to hope that you guys can be waiting until just whenever you can get to it during the week. And the reason I say that is because then if we stagger people over, our 19 servers are going to be fine. If I need to, if I don't have a lot of security people, and I need to retool the systems, I can retool the systems pretty easily. Meaning we could have more Rocky systems if we need and more Hammer systems if we need. Hammer systems are the security course systems, right? So yeah, tomorrow, what I would expect is, if you show up, have a notepad, something like Notepad++. LogSec is also great, LOGSEQ. I will typically, during the courses, I'm going to start opening up like a little Excalidraw, and we'll have all of our notes for Excalidraw, so everybody can be working in there as well. Like you could be drawing things as you're working through it. You could be doing all that kind of stuff with everybody in there, and then I typically save those after. So somebody asked, what is my way to take notes? LogSec, this is LOGSEQ. This is free and open source. And again, this is awesome because I can just say draw like this, and I can just drop in right here to, a drawing tool. And I've got my little stylus here. I can just be like, right, and then I can just be like, right, over to, maybe, oh, whoops, oh, geez. I think I pressed something I shouldn't have there. Rocky, whatever. Rocky, what's going on here? That thing is definitely out of sync now. All right, whatever, fuck it. Box. That's super out of sync. That's my little stylus. Not doing what it should. But anyways, the point is you could then have your notes and then you can do that. So LogSec is a pretty good little tool. and then you can play with those notes later. You can also back out. You can then you can come here. Where's it at? I should be able to. Oh, turn wide mode on or off. I should be able to come right here to it and see where it's saved, because this automatically saves into the grid mode can be on if you need grids. You can save this directly on your system. You can do all kinds of things. LOGSEQ, that's great. And then I love Notepad++. This is where I do a lot of my note taking as an engineer, and I just have a bunch of them open all the time. And then this is actually the one. This is what I did for the notes when I posted this up in the Discord yesterday in the notes channel. So this was all the stuff that we had done as we were working through these different labs and stuff. So other than that, I'm actually a fan of OneNote. OneNote works pretty well. You could do VI for notes. VI works for notes as well if you want to do that inside of a Linux system. I'm not telling you can't. Some people take notes in GitHub. I don't do any of that, but you could. But we're setting up for a VM. No, I would just tell you, if you were building your own VM, you want to have at least these minimum. There's these minimums right here. Hold on. In our Prolog syllabus, these are the minimum things that I would do for a home lab. So if you were doing your own local VM, I would make sure that you did RHEL, Fedora, or Rocky. Could you get away with Ubuntu? Sure. But look, if you're going to build it from scratch, I would do one of those. Probably most likely Rocky right now. That would be the bare minimum. I would go higher than that if I could, but that's the bare minimum to run it. And then I would say add 3 to 5 gig hard drives so you could do some of the hard drive work. Because we're going to partition those up. We're going to slurp them up into logical volume management. We're going to break them down. We're going to put them in MD, MD-ADM, which is your software RAID type system that you can use. There's a lot of stuff that you can do with disks once you kind of understand what's in a system. So that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow. All right, guys, the wife is here, so I do have to go. I will be on tomorrow most of the day adding stuff and working on stuff. You might even find me down in the Discord. If you guys are ever in Discord and you see somebody hanging out down in like one of these voice channels, you can always hop down in there with them. So if you find me down in there, like if I'm working on stuff like in Linux chat or study groups, you guys can always come and hang out with me, right? Like I'm just down there sometimes. So yeah, all right. Yeah, I appreciate that. Hayes Anderson, we're doing I don't know what the wife and I are doing. We hung out most of the day, so we'll figure it out. All right, let's go to that, and then we'll go find somebody to raid. Let's go find somebody to raid over on the Twitch side. What's going on over here? Who is still on? Let's see. Is anybody doing Linux stuff? It looks like Clonk is on. We raid him all the time. Let's go. Let's see if we have similar in the same category. Is anybody doing any Linux stuff? I don't see anybody doing Linux type stuff. Alright. Well, here's what we'll do, guys. I'll just send you off to go find other fun stuff yourself. I do appreciate you guys all coming. I will be around again most of the time tomorrow, and I will see you guys then. Take care.